Right then, I want to talk about this Conor Bradley, Martinelli incident, and then we'll obviously touch upon Conor and the injury and the outlook and forward to, which isn't looking great at this moment in time without too much clarification after what Arne Slot said yesterday. I'm not quite sure what I'm more disappointed with, John. I'm not sure if it's with Martinelli or it's not with Liverpool for someone not chinning him and for every single one of them shaking his hand at the end of the game. I couldn't believe that's a horrendous thing. And
I think he should have been sent off for it.
Yeah.
He threw the ball into him.
Yeah, like hard.
He knelt into him, put his knee into his back, and then his manhandled him off the pitch. I mean, that is a sending off for me. The fact that Conor Bradley is seriously injured, maybe Martinelli could say, well, I didn't know that, fair enough. The rest of it is a sending off, and I really don't know why the referee didn't just send him off.
It's interesting as well, Chris, because I've seen a lot of the defence of Martinelli, for lack of a better thing. It's like, Conor Bradley was crawling back onto the pitch. He was never off the pitch, ever. And then Martinelli threw the ball at him. And then Bradley is in pain. And he kind of moves 2 inches on more towards but he's already on the pitch. He was never going off the pitch because he was in serious obviously pain. And listen, I don't really subscribe to TalkSport or listen to too much of it because I'm over the top sometimes. But I heard Jason Cundy say something like, or I saw the clip of it saying like, Martinelli's judged Conor Bradley by his own standards because Martinelli's got history of this. He dived he tries to win a penalty, he goes down. There's a video circulating, of course, of him being off the pitch and Arteta telling him to get on the pitch. They've got history, and it felt like he's just assumed that Conor Bradley is taking the piss here when he's clear. You can just tell by someone's reaction when they're hurt, and you can just tell it was from the player himself. First of all, it was pretty shady at worst. At best,
it was. If Martinelli had hit him with a tackle and he'd gone down, you could understand maybe Martinelli thinking, well, I didn't really hit him very hard. The fact that Conor Bradley went down without Martinelli being anywhere near him should have told him that there was a serious injury.
Yeah, because there's no one near Conor Bradley at all, and therefore straight away as a player that's a bad injury. As you say, Steve, he didn't roll off the pitch. He didn't then roll back onto it. I think it's outrageous for Martinelli, to be honest. And I agree, I don't get how he's not been sent off. I think the reaction of the Liverpool players straight away is, get off him, what do you think you're doing? And Slot has said afterwards, and I thought Slot was quite measured in what he said about Martinelli, to be honest. He said, if Martinelli knew the injury that Conor has that we think he has, then he wouldn't have reacted like that. So I did think Slot took a very measured view on what happened. But no, I think for him to do that to a fellow professional, young lad who has a history record of injuries as well, I just thought it was such a poor thing for Martinelli to do. And I always think players...
It's a very Arsenal thing to do for me. That's what Arsenal do all the time.
If you did it, say if someone had done it to him, for example, then again, there'd be outrage, absolute outrage from Arsenal and their fans. So, I just think it was very, very poor for Martinelli.
Again, I guess they were saying this, and I understand this part of the show is going out on YouTube and everyone's going to see or maybe hear it, and that's absolutely fine. Like, they're a reflection of their manager.
Yeah.
He's a dick. And they play right on the line sometimes, and sometimes they just, like, they're they're just nasty. Sometimes they're just horrible people sometimes. And that's, I know you understand some people say, you say certain Liverpool players, there's always tit for tat. But Arsenal are just, they're a reflection of him. And that was a reflection. It's a bit of the guy's lost his head. He thinks that Liverpool are time wasting. We were battering Arsenal that second half. Why would we need to time waste? Like, we're doing better. And also, I understand, John, and I know he's come out and apologised, Martinelli, which is understandable.
Well, he'd have to.
He has to.
He had to do that.
But he has, the first thing he's assumed is this lad's cheating. Not this lad seriously hurt, and that reflects poorly on him. That just shows the kind of person. Yeah, he clearly thinks everyone's a cheat. This is what everyone does to us. And actually,
it doesn't matter whether he thinks he's cheating or he isn't. He still has no right to throw the ball at him and then try and manhandle him off the pitch. Yeah. Even if he was cheating, he shouldn't be doing that anyway.
What did you make of the Liverpool players' reaction? Because again, I go back to this. I wasn't listening to the commentary at the time in the UK. We had to watch it on.
Went for him straight away, didn't he?
I heard Gary Neville say, someone should have chinned him, and I'd actually tweeted the same thing like a couple of minutes around the same time. Like, I can't believe someone hasn't, or like in the changes after the game or something. if that was in your earlier eras, John, of watching Liverpool, he's getting strung up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it is just a bit. Are we too nice in that regard? Because I know Ibu gets himself booked, doesn't he, and for a little push and stuff. But I couldn't believe high fives and handshakes.
I think if it's the other way round, and it's an Arsenal player on the deck and a Liverpool player does that, every Arsenal player would have been pushing and shoving him and punching him. You know,
the one thing I'll say is the amount of bodies we're down to at the moment.
Yeah, don't get sent off.
I don't particularly.
Oh no, get a free game ban, and you're missing Barnsley, Burnley, and one other. I just think someone should have put him in the stands. I thought it was mad, and even at the end towards it's just a different era, I suppose. But you're right. Or the next time you got the ball because someone have but he didn't. Someone have booted him in the sky. But I
remember when Paredes at the World Cup boots the ball into the Dutch bench. Van Dijk comes along and chests him onto the ground as such. Maybe that kind of vibe. But no, I think the reaction of the players, it was definitely a get off him vibe. But I understand why people definitely thought there could have been more aggression.
I think I'm an idiot sometimes because I'm advocating red card. I'm advocating red card.
McAllister went for him straight away.
He's already been booked. McAllister maybe he was. I was thinking Curtis Jones against Decore. Just go and grab him. If you get red card, you get a red card. Don't worry about it because he deserves to be whatever he gets here. Because it's a really scummy move.
He's been because he got booked for that Martinelli now, so it's not as if anyone could look at that and go, "Well, we'll give you a ban for your actions either." So
someone should have broke his jaw or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that. But I think
violence.
Yeah, I'm not condoning that, of course. But I do think Liverpool should have been a bit harsh. Liverpool were a bit nice sometimes in that game, and sometimes in general were a bit nice, and maybe that's something to look at. But on the Bradley thing, from a Liverpool point of view going forward now, John, obviously it doesn't look great.
It's a shocker. I mean, he's got a very poor record of injury anyway, but if it's an ACL, which it looks like, he's out for a year and then it's another 6 months before he's back to his best. And he's we may have another fullback by then who's settled in. Who knows, what it means for his career.
Yeah,
Fortunately, he's still young.
Yeah, you're looking at all the remainder of this season and most of next season.
But to have two guys out with an ACL at the same time, both defenders, sums up our season.
But that was kind of my next point. On Connor, again, obviously, best wishes to Connor. Hope it all goes well. Hopefully it isn't as bad as we fear and the news is good, but usually when them things happen, you can you get a good sense of where we're going to be, Chris. In the short term, the rest of this season, and then going in, Liverpool are short now on defenders. Liverpool have got Frimpong as a right-back option and Joe Gomez, who's just returning from injury, but Joe Gomez is also your backup centre-back at this moment in time because Leone is out. They've got two left-backs and I think they're all right over there, to be honest with you. Now, we'll see where Calvin Ramsey sits in this situation as well, and I imagine he starts on Monday in the very short term. But I do wonder if Liverpool look at the market again now. The Gahey situation is rumbling on. There's talk of other teams being in for him, and Palace want to sell and they don't want to sell, and they'll take the money and then they won't take the money. But this feels now like the squad is razor thin at the back. The two current right back options are a lad who is actually our first choice right winger at the moment as well, who's got 2 hamstring injuries this year, and you're clearly managing his minutes. Yeah. And then you've got Joe Gomez, who we saw what happened. Joe Gomez played 4 games on the run or something recently, and a muscle injury went because that's just where Joe's at this point now, unfortunately. And by the way, he's your only centre-back cover in terms of natural centre-back covers.
Have we got about 6 games left this month?
They look like they... Yeah. It looks like... I know they've signed a couple of young kid centre-backs. They're not going to be there for down the line. It does feel like the squad at the moment... And again, this isn't just for the rest of the season. You can probably put next season into this one now because we don't know where Leone is going to be at. We don't know where Gomez and Carter are even going to be playing. And obviously Conor Bradley, you'd be shocked if he has much of an impact in the 26-27 season if it's as bad as you think.
They've needed centre-backs all season, and they clearly need to go and do something about that situation, and it's made worse, compounded by the injury now to Conor Bradley.
Well, on the centre-backs, I know Leone arrived in the summer, but it's one senior centre-back signing since 2021. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Well, Jürgen found out how difficult life can be if you don't buy centre-backs. And I think Slot is in danger of finding out the same thing.
Because he was asked about that on Tuesday as well. Or was it Wednesday? Wednesday, I think. No, he was asked about that on Wednesday, Slot, about are you happy with your centre-back cover? And he didn't say yes or no particularly, but he did allude to the fact, again, if opportunities become available, etc. And I just wonder if Liverpool's hand is beginning to get forced here, really.
It's interesting, John, because you never want to make signings really for 6 months. You never go, we've got an injury crisis, and for that. If you do that, you end up with that's how you end up with a loan for Ozan Kabak or Arthur in loan from midfield. If Liverpool signed a defender now, the squad is going to need a defender for the next 4, because there's enough doubt about all of them.
If it was me, I'd be buying 2 centre-backs, and I would hope that one of them would be able to play full-back.
Yeah.
And that would be the least you would want to help that defence sort itself out.
Because we were just chatting before we came on about Barnsley, right? I've been thinking through my head about the lineup for that game. And the thing is, you look at Plymouth last year, and I don't particularly want to go into Barnsley with the potential of a Plymouth happening. And I think whatever lineup Liverpool put out will still have quality to be able to beat Barnsley. But you're looking at it now thinking, you'd rather... The lineup is almost going to be dictated by who Slot wants to get injured the least, if that makes any sort of sense.
It's also dictated by the fact that he got rid of a lot of his midfield players, his peripheral ones, the ones on the edge, who would have played in the cup games. Yeah. So he's going to have to play some of his first team squad because he doesn't have cover.
It'll be fine.
Keep McConnell for that.
It'll be fascinating to see who plays a centre back. But I think again, I'm never a big fan of, oh my God, we need a centre-back for the next 6 months, go and get one. That tends, because you've got lads who are coming back and all of a sudden, I'm not a big fan, but Kanate hasn't signed the contract yet. No. Conor Bradley would be lucky if he plays within the next 18 months. And your other centre-back's
33, is he?
And then Gomez's future is up. He nearly left in the summer. If Gahey came, there might have been Gomez. So I think Liverpool, like I say, whether it's Gahey or someone else now, I think they should go into the market, but also, of course, best wishes. Hopefully the news isn't that bad on Conor, and this is all a mute point, but you get the sense that isn't going to be the case. That was a clip from the Final Word show. To check out the entire show, head on over to the Redmen Plus app.